Now, recently, King Charles has just made that long journey over to the wonderful land that is Australia. And it, as I've said to you before, a marvellous place. You know, I like their lifestyle. I like what it really represents. And when you think about it, you know, particularly during those basking summer days, what a place to live. I think you're all very lucky in Australia, you know. And of course, you've sent us some wonderful things. Yes, not just neighbours, but my favourite sons and daughters. I think I've mentioned that before. One of my all-time favourite soap operas, Patricia. How bad was she? But of course, His Majesty the King recently travelled over commercial all the way over to Australia, while our Foreign Secretary, currently, David Lammy, decided to go private jet to China. You see how these people are so full of hypocrisy that it's one rule for them, and then of course criticising the British monarchy, who are great ambassadors for us along the world stage. But what was fascinating was, and this is just me sort of, you know, wanting to share this with you, is just how far, if you like, the British monarchy have changed their direction. You see, way back in the Victorian era, Queen Victoria insisted on her own railway station. Yes, as ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time, and thank you for enjoying another previous history video that I put together for you, all about the Windsor soup. A lot of you liked it. I think we should try it, you know. I mean, it is a stew, isn't it? But how filling must that be? Now, though, you'd have all the vegans and all that sort of, oh no, you can't have that. But it's really what people ate in that era, you know. Everybody just ate what was available. And, you know, when you think about it, if you were rich, that would have been considered a marvellous meal, the Windsor soup, wouldn't it? I think it looks quite nice. I'm a little bit partial to oxtail, as long as you don't think about it. You know what I mean. Warm crusted bread, a little bit of butter on the, oh, lovely. Now back to Queen Victoria. Yes, definitely a royal in demand. This was a particular lady who decided that in order to let the burgeoning, shall we say, British railways of the time carry on, well, she really wanted something in return. Now, she wasn't alone in this, let me tell you, because a lot of famous mill owners, landowners, also did the same thing during the early days of the railway. As they needed to cut through swathes of the United Kingdom to make sure they could lay the track, certain individuals would say, well, yes, but I wouldn't mind a platform for me to get on and my staff should I travel into London or go up to the wonderful area of Scotland, say. You see how this works. So at Nine Elms, which is in Vauxhall, and now a very wealthy area, let me tell you, and home of the American embassy, no less, in that particular area, well, Queen Victoria was given a very own royal station. Now, this was because people, dignitaries, you know, that she had to meet, she would then go to the royal station to meet them there. This bypassed the messy area of Waterloo with all the roads with, how should we put this nicely, horse manure, right? And this gave you a better direct link, say, down to Windsor, which worked for her because the train could pick her up and take her directly back to Windsor Castle. And this particular station originally wasn't too ornate or wasn't that fancily put together. And she didn't like the look of it on her first visit alongside Prince Albert. Well, they decided to do it up, and then the waiting room, as it were, literally was fit for a queen. And they thought, oh, you know, we've won her over now. But she still wasn't too keen. She thought it was a little bit plain, and she was never really that keen to pick up the train from there. She much preferred to travel down in her own sort of carriages down to Windsor. She thought the people should see her. Sadly, after the demise of Prince Albert, this particular now forgotten station, which was literally belonging to the royal crown, fell into disrepair. Used it very occasionally, but not often, you know, and basically she thought it wasn't really for her anymore. Of course, the Prince of Wales would sometimes use it, but eventually it just literally was scrapped away. And now there's no remnants of it whatsoever. But it's fascinating to think when you go around London, as I like to share these things with you, all of these things that have gone on before for the convenience of people, particularly those that were wealthy and had money. This truly was none other than Queen Victoria. A lot of people did a lot to appease her, and apparently famously, you know, we are not amused. I'm not quite sure how often she said that, but either way, the fact that she had her own railway station with a platform that nobody else could use offered her privacy, secrecy. She could meet people there without people knowing, and they would disembark from the train. She could get on and go to Windsor. Well, apparently she kind of just got tired of it. Now, maybe some might say this wouldn't work in the modern day of royalty, and I think you'd be right. But what a way to reign way back in the Queen Victorian era, don't you think? Neil Sean in the very heart of Kensington.